I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move.
Madagascar is the first film that we've made at DreamWorks where all of the tools that we've previously made for things like Shrek 2 or Shark Tale, they've now resulted in a complete tool set for putting together most of the things that you can think of in these animated films. So Madagascar is sort of the culmination of, 15 to 20 years of development.
I wished I could go to the wild.
Madagascar started with pretty much a sentence. What would happen if you took 4 New York City Zoo animals and took them out of this civilized place where they've spent their entire lives and plopped them into the middle of the savage jungle? How are these animals, who are really like people, like New Yorkers, how are they going to survive?
Well, the world of Madagascar is actually very unique compared to what we've done on Shrek or other films, in that it's very stylized. We are not trying to emulate realism. Rather, we're trying to hit a bold statement in terms of graphic quality. And this applies to all the areas of the film, so the lighting is probably less naturalistic than we've done in other films. Also, the visual effects are a little more difficult in the sense that they have to be cartoony in the same way that the characters are cartoony in their animation.
Surprise!
From the outset, we said we wanted this to be a funny, physical film, from an animation point of view.
The principles of squash and stretch and really taking animation to an extreme have been around for decades.
The influences were, of course, Tex Avery and Bob Clampett and Chuck Jones as well.
CG is very good at doing sort of, volume preserved, you are the size you are, sort of representations of something. With our Tex Avery style, the characters actually expand and contract based on the emotion of the moment.
Very impressive. Hey, have a drink. It's on the house. This is seawater.
The kinds of effects that we do on a film like Madagascar are pretty much anything that moves that isn't a character.
So when we're faced with a challenge, for example, in effects, where Nick Foster and his team are trying to create something that has never before been accomplished,
he knows he has the confidence of relying on AMD-based HP technology to get that job done.
It's allowing us to do a lot more than we could in the past, because now we can develop the story that we want to make instead of developing the story that we can make given the current state of the art in terms of technology.
Welcome to Madagascar.
The single biggest effect on Madagascar is the jungle. It's in almost every shot, and it's got tons of plants. We have to make them move as naturalistically as possible without being distracting, and also without having to sit down and try to figure out how to simulate every single plant in a jungle and how every single plant might move and every single thing might go along. And what's the wind speed? Okay, well, the wind speed, if it's going through here, and we've got this. We figured out really early on that you just have to throw all that away and come up with something that's a lot more of a direct way of manipulating the geometry.
That's a big challenge to do because basically you're animating several thousand acting characters. At the same time, they all have to move in a similar but not identical way. To do that, it's a lot of physics and a lot of computation. We have a sizable render farm of HP servers using AMD Opteron processors. Those have really helped us to quickly generate full-resolution images for more rapid approvals. The desktops themselves, that's about sort of artist interactivity, and so what they need is to get feedback very quickly. And for example, in lighting those furry creatures, they need to be able to see at least a portion of that furry creature come back lit very quickly so they can see where the shadows are and so forth and make some adjustments. And so that gave them more chances to review their results, and I think it shows on the screen.
Don't go.
So technology is enabling us to make films that weren't possible to make even a few years ago. And it is that combination between our proprietary technology, HP's extraordinary hardware, those collectively combined give capabilities to our studio that frankly nobody else in the world has.
Bye-bye. See you later, crocodile.